everyone, and welcome to EL119 Campus Journalism. At this point of time, this will be our last topic for our course. Yes, you heard it right. So, what would this video discussion be about? First, it is about how to write the headlines. Although we already discussed about that, let us just have a brief recall as to how should we make an impactful headlines. Another is copyreading and proofreading. We are also going to differentiate the two. Lastly will be about page layouting. Yes, that's right. I mean, this will be the most tasky thing that we have to do. That's why I invited Chris Milane Herrera, one of my students from English 3A, to help you out as to how to lay out newspaper in PCCM. So, stay tuned! Hello! So, for this day, this will be our last discussion as what I have told you. And our first topic is about doing the headlines. How should we make our headlines effective whenever we create an article? Of course, I have read some of your works during your midterm, wherein some of your titles or headlines should be edited. Okay, you have to take note of that. Because there are things we have to consider whenever we create headlines. So first, what is a headline? It is a symbol of words written in bigger, bolder letters. Meaning this is the first thing that the reader will see whenever you read or they read your article. Second, it is the display windows of newspaper. How do we say display windows, diba? Whenever we see a house, there's like a window. And when you look at the window, you somehow see what's inside the house. The same with the newspaper. You will be able to get to know what's inside the story once you have a glimpse of the window, which is the headline. The third is the summary of the summary lead. Wow, summary, yung lead na nga namin is summary, summarize pa. Yes, that's it. Because as soon as possible, as fast as we can, we have to make sure that we grab our readers' attention. And how should we do that? Give them already the gist of the article with the news. Okay, I am talking particularly with news article. And lastly, it is not a title. Take note of that. So how can we say that it is a title and it is a headline? Well, as you see, whenever we have a story, for example, a title, they use a aesthetic or they add up a aesthetic value. They create some foreshadowing, creative language. But in news, we still use some creative language, but not really from a aesthetic level. But more likely it is for impact and with action. So let's take an example. For example, these are the titles: Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. Of course, it will not be a headline. Why? Because Hansel and Gretel is only a subject. So let's try creating it into a headline. First, for Hansel and Gretel, we say two kids trapped in candy house. You see? That's how impactful it is. So you already know, that's the story about the two kids who go inside the house and then they were trapped with a witch, right? So we omit the term witch for them to be able to, how do I say that, be intrigued as to what will happen. Next, Cinderella. What will be the headline for this? Prince looks for missing shoe owner. Okay. Snow White. Lady dies with poison apple. Beauty and the Beast. What do you think is that for the Beauty and the Beast? Beauty weds Beast. And then Aladdin, we say carpet talks. So you see, that's the pattern of making a news. We have the subject, we have the verb, and we have what's going on, like, or who takes the action. It can be like as simple as two words like this one, like the carpet talks, as long as we already know what's happening. So that's the thing. Title and headline are different from each other. So look at this. Here, move forward together. That's how they make it. Cash for torture. You see, it's very intriguing. King's legacy alive in the bouquet. And at least England's wags enjoyed the game. Something like that. So that's how they make a headline. Okay, so that's how it looks like. It's bold. It's the first thing that you're going to see. Okay. And then what are the functions of headline? So it is to attract readers, tell a story, add a variety of type, maybe to break the monotony of the article itself. Like maybe you can make it humorous, um, tricky, something like that. To identify personality of a newspaper. Like, is it more of, how do I say this, sports news? Is it about a person? Are these articles we will be seeing in this newspaper will talk mostly about the government, something like that. They are going to identify the tone of your newspaper through headline. That's why it is a very important thing to tackle. And then, to index grade the news. When we talk about grading, ay po ba 87, 89? Hindi, hindi yan yun. Okay. So when we talk about grading the news, we are looking at what to take, what headline should be in a big part and what headline should be in a small part. Like for this, the first thing that we see is cash for torture. So we or the writers already grade this headline as the most important because it it has the space, it has the most space in the newspaper, meaning even the people will be aware that okay, this article is very important since they make it into a big headline. But if we look at this at a smaller, like for example, the devastating report reveals true scale of UK torture complicity, something like that. So you already know that it is less important. So with headlines, the readers will be able to discover the most important news to the least important news. Okay? And then, how should we write a headline? So, we already had a workshop about writing a headline. So, I will not go overboard about writing a headline again. So, I'll just go with the general stuff. So, you have to make it skeletonized. So, we have to omit unnecessary part, something that you already put in your lead, okay, can be left behind. You just need to get the gist, the most important details. Example, principal dismisses pupils. The principal dismisses pupils. So which one of this is correct? The one that is wrong here is, of course, this one. This is wrong. Why? Why is it wrong? Because we have to avoid using the word the, and an. And the articles. As much as possible, if it does not, how do I say this? If it does not affect the meaning of the story, therefore omit that word. And then use the present tense. That's the logic. If it happens in the past, you have to use a present tense. But if it will happen in the future, you have to use to plus verb or the base form of the verb. Okay? Present tense for past tense or for things that already happened in the past, and infinitives for sentences that will happen in the future. Are we clear? Okay, so for example, burglar, please. So, although it already happened maybe yesterday, last week, still, the form of the verb is present. Why? Why is this? Because they are highlighting the action, the present action. Parang they wanted to hype the readers that, oh, it's happening, it happens. They are making the readers be in that state. They're making the readers move, okay, to what is happening with their article. Okay. Poor girl fled, that's wrong. Okay, this one is wrong. But in writing the article itself, it should be in the past tense. The headline is the only one who is or which is present in present tense. And use the active voice. Okay, so dog bites man, man is bitten by dog. No passive, this one is passive. So we have to start first with the doer of the action, and then the action itself, and then the receiver of the action. STVDO. Subject, transitive verb, and object. So, how should we write the headline part 2? So, numbers 1 to 9, you have to write it in words, but 10 and above are written in figures. So, 9 students, 13 children, something like that. So, what are the exceptions? Dates, address are always in figure. For example, September 1, 2021, you have to write it 1 as in figure. Do not write September 1, O-N-E. Okay? And then, proper nouns may be written in figures or words. So, it depends. For example, one mall. Of course, you have to write it in words. Unless the one there that is written as one mall is really in figures or in words. Basta kailangan intact tayo doon. Do not change the proper nouns. Beginning sentence, always in words. If you start with 72 children, for example. So if 72, do not start with the figure 72. It should be 7, as in S-E-V-E-N-T-Y. Okay? Events. First, ninth is allowed. Okay, so you can use that in figures. And then the spelling, of course. Here in the Philippines or in your campus, in your newspaper, do not use British English. We are going to use American English. Color, not color. Okay, so if a word has more than one accepted spelling, for example, American English naman parehas. So you have to get which is shortest. Okay. Judgment instead of judgment, something like that. Okay. So punctuating, how should we put punctuations in the headline? So we use comma in a place of conjunction. Like instead of writing end, okay, yung end the word, this one, we use comma. Okay. Two related thoughts should be separated in semicolon. What semicolon? I know, or I hope that you already know what's a semicolon. The dash may be used in smaller text, but not for headlines in large text. So, for example, a while ago, di pa ang laki masyado ng space. Wag kayong gagamit ng dash doon. Pero, pwedeng gumamit ng dash if it's just smaller headline lang. Small grade headlines. Single quotation marks are used in headlines. And follow the other rules, the general rules that we have. So these are some of the headline patterns that we have. Cross line is like this, okay? Like, ano lang, pantay, straight. Drop line or step line, parang you're making a stairs like that. Third is flushed left, like you just put it on the left part, like this. And then flush right, it's in the right side. Nakagano naman siya. Okay? So, I do not want to limit you. It's up to you. As long as you can, or the readers can understand the title. The readers can identify that this is the title. What I mean about not limiting you is that I do not want you to just focus with this headline patterns. You can make your own pattern, but make sure that it's easy to read. Okay, these are just some of the conventions in writing. So it's a safe thing to use in writing your headline or even layouting your headline. And then there's also unit counting. Why unit counting is important? We are already in the process of moving on page layouting. That's why unit counting is important. Did you know that every letter has a unit count? So here, J-I-L-T and F plus all the punctuations except this dash are all 1/2 unit. Okay, these are all 1/2 unit. 1 unit are question mark, spaced, all figures 1 to 9, and then the capital JILTF. So They have their account. So why do we have to know this, ma'am? It is because in professional writing of campus newspaper, um, how do you call this? The space in the newspaper is very important that you have to take note of the letters you will write in your article. Okay. For example, the layout artist told you that you only have 10.5 units to write the headline. So you don't have a choice but to change that. Okay, and that's the task of copy reader or maybe the writer itself. Okay, so that's it. The 1.5 units and the 2 units. Ito yung pinakamalaking sakop, yung M tsaka yung W. Okay. For example, yan, ganyan magbilang. Yung B, 1.5, yung C, so 11.5 units na siya, yung BCIS tags. So, minsan yung binibilang nila yan kasi dapat eksakto. Ito lang yung binigay na space sa'yo, kaya dapat ayusin mo. Bawal, ito, it's a no-no to change the size font for each letter. For example, BCIS bags, ginawa mo siya, font niya 10. Tapos, dahil hindi kasha, ang gagawin mo sa medals in NEPA sa quiz B, ni-9 mo na lang. No, it's a big no-no. Kaya dapat alam na alam natin yung sa font. Okay? That's a reminder. Then, let's proceed with copy reading. Okay, so what is copy reading all about? So, copy reading is like you edit a work of someone. Okay, you edit the work of someone. Except that you use symbols in editing. It can be editorial, feature article, anything you want. So first, what are the functions of a copy reader? The grammar. Check out for grammar. Second, shorten sentences. If this type of sentence, if this long sentence can be shortened, the copy reader needs to shorten it. Pag nakita niyo ang haba naman, pwede naman ganito. Diba? That's why and then you see, it's passive. It's a passive sentence. You have to make it an active sentence. And then, the paper style requirements are strictly followed. This is applicable especially for yung professional na newspaper na masyadong cheeky yung pagkakasulat niya. Something like that. So, you have to keep that tone. And at the same time, yung address, title, designation, identification, fact-checking. And then, rewrite the story. If it's poorly written, kung hindi talaga, ang pangit talaga ng pagkakagawa, well, the copy reader has to rewrite it. It is for the betterment of the newspaper. You have to know that. If you know that certain article will somehow ruin the beauty of your newspaper. Therefore, you have to rewrite it. Be a volunteer to rewrite that article and make it beautiful so that the output, the final output of your newspaper will be very good. And then rewrite the lead. You can rewrite the lead, which is a better lead. Or do the headline. And then last is to delete all opinions, speculations, and statements on news. You know that news does not allow any opinions, just merely facts. Okay, so what should we copy read? Errors in fact, grammar, structure, style, derogatory statements, or libelous. Baka naman kasi makasuhan yung newspaper nyo kapag pinablish yan. So you have to check on that. Seditious and rebellious matter, parang masyado na siyang nakakasira ng tao, okay, without proper documents, expressions contrary to law or good taste, parang may batas na ganito, pero you are stating the contrary, so it's not a good thing. Opinion and editorializing statements. Halimbawa, may sinabi si celebrity or kaya si famous person, and then you injected another opinion on that. So it's a big no-no. Baka iba interpretation at magagalit sa'yo yung mismong nagsabi nun. Verbal deadwood or redundancy. Ayun pa. Avoid repetition of words. Think of other verbs, nouns you can replace with that. Technical terms, slangs, jargons, those words that will be unrelated with your readers na pag binasa nila yon, mapapaisip sila, hala, ano ibig sabihin niya dun? So, you have to remove that and replace it with a simple terms. Okay? So these are the copy reading symbols and how to use it. So to indent, diba? Every time we start our paragraph, it should be indented. No new paragraph. Parang for example, ginawa niya new paragraph, dapat magkadugtong. Ganyan yung gagawin. Capitalize. Kailangan naka-capital. So tatlo. Ganyan siya. Kapag naman hindi ka capitalize, slash. Or abbreviate, parang pwede namang bibilugan mo siya kapag pwede namang paikliin. Okay? Or kaya, dapat ay i-spell out. Yan, dalawa yan. Kapag bilog, either spell out or paikliin. Siyempre, kapag numbers yun, malamang sa figures yung sundat mo, malamang pag binulugan yan, kailangan mo i-spell out. Transpose. Okay, so you have to edit, parang ilipat, you have to transfer. Insert letter, may nag-miss out ka. Ganyan. Insert a word. Yan, pang-insert talaga siya. I think in your notes, you also use that. And then delete the letter, ganyan siya, parang pirma. And then delete the word, same thing, ganyan. Change the letter. So change, tapos buburahin mo muna, and then you have to put insert. Change the word, same thing, and then insert period. Insert comma, ganyan. Huwag kayo malilito ha. Kapag insert word or letter, ganyan lang. Pero pag insert comma, kailangan may nakakama dito. Insert apostrophe. Ganyan naman siya sa taas. Insert quotation marks. Quotation marks then, and then with arrow. Insert hyphen. So, may ganyan siya. May arrow din, pero you put hyphen on top. Insert space. Ganyan. Parang pa-letter Z. Connect but leave space. Yan. Kailangan pagka-connect mo. Kasi nga, you have to delete this. Close up. Pagtikitin. Restore. Pag restore, ibig sabihin, a true friend, binura mo, tapos na-realize mo, ay, tama pala to. So, lalagay mo yung word na step, S-T-E-T, tapos naka-box. Ibig sabihin, disregard this correction. Okay? Pag may nakita kayong step, disregard this correction, okay na yung gawa mo. Parang ganun. Yung part lang na yun, na mamaya feeling mo lahat na yun step, no? Yung part lang, ito lang, yung true. Parang ibig sabihin, ang gagawin niya, a true friend pa rin. Continues on next page, more. Yan. And then, the end of story, 30. Lalagyan mo ng 30. Kapag natapos mo na i-copy read, you have to put 30 at the end. Ganun. Bakit 30? Well, during the time of war daw, parang Morse code daw yan na end of duty or something like that. So, it's 30. Bakit 30? Ganun. Basta, kahit ilang paragraph yan, you have to put 30, okay, as the end of story. And then, insert ka niya. And that's the end for copy reading. Okay, so here, this is an example of your copy-read work. So that's how you do that. You see, there's a 30 at the end if it's done. Now, you have to take note that copy reading is the same with copy editing. Okay, we just we use different terms, but they are both different from proofreading. So the question is, what is proofreading? What is this? So proofreading happens after the manuscript has been printed. So meaning okay na, pati yung layout okay na. Ito pala, si copy reading or copy editing, you do that with the drafts, just the drafts. But with proofreading, you do that when the newspaper is already had a copy, the first ever copy, just one copy of the printed newspaper. That's proofreading. Check before the newspaper goes into mass production. Kagawa muna or ipiprint niyo muna yung pinaka-final. Tapos, tsaka niyo titingnan. Tsaka titingnan ni proofreader kung saan ba may mali. So, ganun siya. So, takes the original edited copy, corrects awkward word or page breaks. Parang may nakita siya, parang hindi ito bagay. Parang iba yung nabasa ko dito sa pagkakagawa ng layout na to. That's proofreading. If there are so many errors that the proofreader sees, therefore, what happens is that ibabalik na yung proofreader yung gawa kay copy editor. Okay? Kasi nga, ang gagawin niya lang naman, titingnan niya lang yung as a whole. Pag masyado na yung mga article, ang daming mali, hindi masyadong na-edit, of course, ibabalik niya na dun sa copyreader. Ayusin niyo ulit. And then, in a newspaper, proofreaders are hired, professional ones, para makita nila yung ibang aspect. Minsan hindi siya part ng mismong company or mismong board. Minsan si proofreader ay galing sa labas, outside, para makita niya anong itsura ba or anong view ng newspaper na to sa ibang tao. Okay? Parang ganun siya. Okay? So, that's proofreading. Then, speaking of which, LG activity sheet week 15 to 16, this is your task. So what are the instructions for your activity sheet? What are you going to do? So first, you have to choose, then start, then make, and submit. So before I proceed to this, okay, so I hope you're already okay with the differences between copyreading and proofreading. Okay? Pag copyreading, doon din sa article, ganun yung pag-edit. Pero si proofreader, as a whole siya tumitingin. Tapos na layout na lahat. Nakita na mismo yung itsura ng newspaper. Kakomenta niya ito na, parang pangit yung combination ng color. Parang mga ganon. Ganon siya. Tapos parang hindi okay na dito. Ito yung una. Ito yung pinakamalaking grade ng headline. Okay? So that's the proofreader. Pero si copyreader, nakatingin siya sa mismong article. Okay, mas, tinitingnan niya yung maliliit na detail doon sa article. Si proofreader, tinitingnan niya yung maliliit na detail doon sa mismong whole newspaper. Okay, so going back with activity sheet week 15 to 16, here's the instruction. So, first, you have to choose one article from your groupmates, okay, which you would like to copy read. So, no student should have the same article to proofread. Kailangan, alam, yung mga kagrupo nyo, pwede na kayo magsalita ng article na sa tingin nyo medyo kailangan i-edit. Okay? Pwede rin na si editor-in-chief, pwede siya yung mag-assign, edit mo to, edit mo yan. Okay naman yon. So, just choose one article. Wag lang may magkakapareha. Okay? Para hindi double yung pag-edit. Then, start copy reading. You may do it online with apps that let you draw symbols like PowerPoint, Paint, or offline by printing it or writing it, then manually drawing symbols to it. May mga tinuro akong symbols kanina as to how you should copy read. So, or as to how you should copy read. So, you have to follow that. Okay, you have to follow that. And you edit the file itself. It's up to you kung gusto nyo online yung gagamit kayo ng app or maybe so, nasa sa inyo yon kung gusto nyo gumamit ng application or kung gusto nyo naman, isulat nyo lang, tapos picturean nyo, tapos send nyo sa akin. Ganon. So, bahala kayo. So, you have to choose an article and do copy reading. Then, you make sure you save it in either PDF or JPEG format where the symbols will stay put. Mamaya kasi gumalaw yung symbols, di ko na makita saan yung inedit nyo. And lastly, submit it either in Messenger or in G Classroom. That's the rubric. Almost all your corrections are included, a large amount. So, ito lang yung magiging grades nyo. 50, 40, 30, 20. So, walang magiging 42, 45. 50, 40 lang. Walang 35, 40, 30 lang. Okay, that's the rubric. So, at this part, what we are going to do again is about the page makeup. Like, how should we design or how should we lay out our own newspaper? But before that, let's discuss first what is a page makeup. Ito pa yung may blush on, may eyeshadow. Pwede, kasi it beautifies you. But then, it's not about the makeup itself like we know with the ladies. Okay? It's more on the aesthetic value of the newspaper, like how you create this. So, it's about assembling of type, cuts, or ads on the page, diba? Whenever you see Manila Bulletin, Philippine Star, may mga part din siya na may ads sila. At may mga part na you have to cut, like the rows. What should it be? Diba? Paano ba gagawin yon? So the type, it refers to the text or fonts you're going to use. Make sure that it is consistent. You're very consistent with the article. And the cuts. Ano ba yung tinutukoy nating cuts? It is photo engraving of any kinds, which includes photos, illustrations, or boxes. Any pictures that you are going to see with that is illustration or are what we call cuts. Okay, so what are the samples of campus newsletter? So nakikita nyo, ganyan siya. Meron tayong spectrum, the communicator, and the catalyst. Parang ganyan. So, it's from PUP, I think. So, ganyan yung itsura nila sa labas nung gumawa sila. As you see, ang pinaka-pinaghahandaan nila, yung title ng newspaper nila, pati yung design. Parang ayan yung pinakamagandang part at dapat i-prepare na part sa yung newspaper. The Lasallian, the Adamson Chronicle, and the Augustinian. Okay? Now, for us to be more informed as to how should we prepare a newspaper, I have here Ms. Chris Melaine Herrera to help us discuss paano nga ba nililayout itong mga ganitong newspaper at paano yung planning. I know that most of your beginners in terms of this. That's why I invited one of your batchmates, which is a news editor in our campus newspaper at Polytechnic College of the City of Maykawayan. So again, I'm giving this screen, not the floor, to Ms. Chris Melaine Herrera to discuss to us some of the things we have to be aware of in designing newspaper and at the same time, some tips that can help us to prepare this. Hello, Chris Melaine. You may take it away.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So again, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Melaine Herrera, one of the news writers of the Scribes, our official publication in the campus. So let me share my screen po.
I'm sorry, I thought you're a news editor, so it's a news writer.
Both po, ma'am. One of the
Both
news
there.
writers and the news editor na rin po.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Kita na po yung screen ko po.
Yes, I can see it.
So let's start. So I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation po for this. So first po, about layouting po na ginagawa namin sa Scribes, ang ilan pong tools or apps po na ginagamit namin ay yung Adobe Photoshop CS6 tsaka po yung Canva. And nag-add po ako ng MS Publisher and MS Word. So dahil po beginner pa lang naman po tayo at hindi naman po tayong lahat ay sobrang subok na yung pag-experiences natin. So let's start with Adobe Photoshop po. Yung Adobe Photoshop CS6 po. Yan po yung gamit namin sa Scribes. And bakit po namin napili yung Adobe Photoshop CS6? Kung makikita po natin, mas organized po yung tools na ginagamit. And mas maganda po gamitin for customized designs para po sa ating campus paper. Next po is yung Microsoft Publisher. Ayan, kung nahihirapan po tayong gumamit naman po ng Adobe, pwede rin po natin itong gamitin itong Microsoft Publisher. And lahat po ay may access nito dahil meron po tayong account po na provided po ng school. Next po is yung Canva. Yung Canva naman po, bukod po sa pwede siyang gamitin pang layout, pwede rin po siyang gamitin para po sa color scheme po. Sa pagkuha po natin ng mga color palette, ganyan. And kasi sa color scheme naman po, ang ginagawa po namin is kumukuha po kami ng color palette sa mga apps na ito, color palette generators po and sa Canva. Tapos yung color scheme po natin, dapat po naayon po siya sa theme nung dyaryo po natin. at tamang palette po na gagamitin. Kung wala naman pong theme, tip po doon ay yung main colors po ng school logo or yung mismong logo po ng ating organization. Yan. Sa text naman po, dapat po syempre readable and interesting but not distracting. Next is consistent fonts for articles tulad nga po ng nabanggit kanina ni Ma'am. And yung sa cuts po na sinabi namin kanina, correct illustration po na gagamitin. Bakit po kailangan ng correct illustrations? Kasi po, kung ano po yung article na ginagawa natin, dapat po akma po rin yung picture na ilalagay natin. Hindi po tayo pwedeng, ang article mo tungkol sa bakuna, pero ang nilagay mong picture ay tungkol sa enrollment. So magkakaroon po ng confusion yung mga readers natin. And ito po yung example po nung last issue po ng publication po natin, yung scribes. Dito po, kung makikita nyo po sa first page or sa cover page po, ang ginamit po natin is yung main color po ng ating logo ng organization po. And yung mismong main color din po ng ating school. And nakikita rin po natin na kahit iba-iba po yung font, yung mga headline na ginamit natin, iisa lang po yung font na ginamit para sa mga articles natin. And yung mga font po na pinili ng ating mga layout artist po sa scribes is talaga namang hindi naman po siya ganun nakaka-distract, kundi catchy po talaga siya. So, yun lang po. Lavarn sa paggawa ng campus paper.
Yes. Love horn talaga. Thank you so much, Chris Melaine. Although it's a very short discussion, but really I also learned something from that, especially about the colors. Like what color should we use, 'di ba? So it's a good thing. Mm-mm. Ano mga struggles, ano yung mga main struggles na experience nyo while you are doing the newspaper, especially in layouting and page makeup?
Sa ano po ma'am, nung face-to-face po, yung pagkakabangga-bangga ng mga ano po, ng mga ideas. Kasi syempre hindi lang naman po dapat pakinggan yung editor lang, yung layout artist lang. Dapat po, kahit yung mga writers po namin, tinatanong namin kung ano po yung babagay na color palette dito, kung ano po yung theme na kailangan. Tapos ngayon naman po normal setup, schedule po. Yung iba may work, yung iba po hindi nakaka-attend ng mismong meeting. Tulad ko minsan mo. Kasi sobrang busy po sa school works. Pero nagkakausap-usap naman po kapag sa GC na ganyan. Nagkakasundo-sundo po ron. Sa pamadilan po ng poll voting po.
I see. So it's all about teamwork pa rin at the end, no? Mahirap kasi talaga pag hindi nagkakasundo. Thank you so much, Chris Melaine. I really appreciate you sharing. Yeah, sharing the knowledge. And I think your classmates will also appreciate you discussing these things. Yes. Thank you so much, Chris Melaine. So you may go if you have something to do, and you may stay if you wanted to, because I will continue discussing this what do you call this, page makeup. Okay? So let's proceed with discussing again. Thank you so much, Chris Melaine. Okay, so it's a good thing to have one of the person that has the first-hand experience in terms of writing or editing or maybe layouting the newspaper itself, right? So I hope you learned something from that, guys. So to continue the discussion, let us proceed. So a newspaper should be carefully and properly laid out. So out to make the different content easy to find and to read. So an attractive appearance to give a paper a personal taste of its own. So what are the do's and don'ts? Ano ba yung mga dapat gawin at hindi dapat gawin pag nagle-layout tayo? First, experiment. You can experiment with dummies, with when I call dummies, yung parang yung first publish nyo, parang bahala kayo. Meron kayong mga layouts na, may mga templates na kayo. And you use kung ano ba talaga yung kailangan ng newspaper nyo. Kailangan ba ng, yung mga article, di ba, mahaba? In case na mahaba siya, paano kayang layout yung gagawin? Take note pala, that not everything that you read, for example, your news article has 3 paragraphs. And then, this article is very important, for example, but then walang masyado, hindi siya kasya doon sa page 1. Pwede na naman siyang i-continue sa page 2. Basta lalagyan nyo lang ng note, continue to page 2. Okay po? So, that's it. Next, do not use 2 pictures of the same size on any one page. Kung nga itong page na to, parehas 2 by 2. 2 by 2 ba talaga? So, pag parehas yan 2 by 2, okay, kapag ganun yung nangyari, pangit siya tingnan. Okay, so mamili kayo nung maganda at iba-ibang size ng picture. Also, choose the best photo. So later we'll have a discussion about that. Avoid. So you have to avoid piling type blocks of similar depth on top of each other. Kung may headline ka dito, tapos same, parehas yung pagkakaitsura. May headline ka ulit dito. Diba marami tayo? May flash left, flash to the left, flash to the right. Meron pa tayong step na pa headline. So marami tayong variation. Even in your learning guides, there's a lot of layout there. Take good care of the bottom of the page by placing heads and pictures. So, dun sa dulo, huwag nyo rin sila i-disregard. You have to pick a balance for this. And then, don't always put the most important story at the top of the page. Huwag naman palagi dito. Pwede sa gitna. Pwede sa baba. Di ba? Pwede sa gilid. So, ayun. And then, use normal word spacing and headline types. Yung sakto lang. Huwag masyadong malaki yung mga spacing nyo. Dapat nga consistent, di ba? Kanina diniscuss ni Chris Malena, your text, although yung mga headlines nila, pwedeng magkakaiba yung font, but the article itself, iisa lang yung font na ginamit. Okay? Another, avoid tombstoning. When we say tombstoning, it is placing 2 or more headlines on the same level. Meron kang headline dito sa part na to. Nailagay ka rin na headline sa part na to. That's not a good thing to look at. Okay? Ginawa niyong balance. So, hindi siya ganon. Wala kayong makikita ang newspaper na same level yung mga headlines. Diba? Yung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina. Let's look at that nga. Ayan o. Hindi siya pantay-pantay. Look at this. Meron dito pa ganyan, isang haba. Meron dito ang liit. Ito pa, maliliit din. Ito pa. Diba? So, hindi siya magkakapantay. That's a way of making your newspaper good to look at. And then, avoid bad breaks. Avoid separating related stories and pictures. Yung mga gray areas. Yung puro gray na lang. Parang dito puro picture, tapos dito walang ka-picture-picture. So, we have to balance. And then, keep long columns of 6-point types and tabular material. Gawin yung naka-column siya para hindi siya masakit tingnan. Ginawa nyo, minsan kasi 1 column lang, tapos mahaba. Minsan masakit sa mata. So, i-column nyo. Pwede yon. And then, don't use banner unless the article deserves it. Kung sobrang halaga niya, ayun ang gawin yung banner. Kumbaga sa editorial, ayun yung pinaka-editorial column nyo. Pero iba yung mga opinion column. Don't make the top page top heavy. Dito, ang daming picture, ang daming ganap sa baba, wala na. So, dapat sakto lang, pantay. Avoid many headlines the same size. Iba-ibahin niyo yung size ng mga headlines nyo. Huwag pare-parehas. Di ba kanina yung pinakita? And then, avoid placing small heads on rather long stories. Kapag mahaba or malaki yung, kapag mahaba yung article nyo, kailangan malaki yung headline. Kung hindi, baka hindi na makita kung headline ba talaga yun o part ng article. Okay? So, the average number of stories on page 1 of a tabloid is from 7 to 9 stories. So, ayan na. Dun sa isang page, sa page 1, 7 to 9 articles yung pwede nyo ilagay doon. Pero hindi naman full article. Pwedeng continue on the second page. Okay? So, these are what it looks like. So, you choose, devise the layout that will fit for your group. Bahala kayo kung paanong itsura ng newspaper nyo. Nasa sa inyo yan. Sa inyo ho, kayong bahala. Okay, so that's it. Pwede kayong gumamit ng mga templates. Hindi ko naman kayo pinagbabawalan since you're just a beginner. but you have to make it beautiful, attractive, and informative. Okay, so ayan, parang ayan yung logo. Pwede nyo gamitin yung logo ng PCCM. Assume that you are a writer or you are a newspaper writer for PCCM. Okay, so that's it. And then, photojournalism. Speaking of pictures, yung mga naka-X, we are expecting that these are pictures. Ganyan kapag gumawa kayo ng draft kung anong magiging itsura ng newspaper nyo. Okay, ito, text yan. Ayan, text din yan. Pero ito ay mga picture. Picture ang indication yan. Picture ang ilalagay dyan. Okay po? So, that's it. So, it depends to you what layout you're going to choose for that. So, photojournalism. This is the most exciting and maybe or probably the attractive that gives life to your newspaper, yung picture. But I think this will also be a struggle, okay, since you're in a new normal setup. Like, how are we going to have this kind of photo of us if we are in an online setup? Well, it's about you. You may ask pictures from your professors. You may ask a picture from your classmates. Diba? Tulungan lang. Okay, so that's it. You see, picture selection. Lahat ba ng picture na nakuha namin, ma'am, should be included in our newspaper? The answer is no. You have to get the best picture that tells the same or that one story. For example, the winning of Heidelin Diaz. I think this is one of the best shot that I was able to browse on Facebook. Ang ganda kasi. You see, there's emotion, there's power. It's very attractive with the eye. See, alam mo yun, yung magiging, grabe, nakita mo talaga yung hirap, pero yung saya, di ba? Just looking at that photo makes our hearts somehow tear apart. Parang ganun. Di ba? Iba yung feeling. So, ganun yung mga picture na dapat nilalagay natin. So, we should look at two values of picture selection. The first one is the technical value. Pag sinabing technical value, lighting, shadow, nakikita ba? Baka mamaya madilim, baka blur, baka may smudge pa yan, malinis ba? Okay ba siya for publication? Is the size good? So these are all technical value. Titingnan niyo mismo yung quality ng picture. Hindi ba siya mag-pixelated kapag nilagay sa newspaper? Ganun po. Then, editorial value. Pag sinabing editorial value, it tells a story. Ang ganda nga, ang ganda ng quality, 1080 pixels, may mga ganyan, di ba? Ang ganda ng ng napili. Kaso, may buhay ba? Di ba? May buhay ba yung picture na yan? Baka naman kung ano lang yung pinicturan. Di ba? It should tell a story about the article. Okay? So, as what Chris Malain discussed a while ago, it should be related. Kung ito yung kwento mo, ayun dapat yung lagyan mo ng picture. Okay? And then, these are also some of the example. Ito yung mga may buhay na picture. Di ba? Nakita nyo, ganyan. And then, ito yung sa ABS-CBN. Tapos ito, there's a war. Ito naman, war. Ganyan yung nangyayari. So, it tells a story. Ano ba? Ano bang ganap? Ganon. Another, ito naman yung sa Tagaytay, yung Taal, yung sumabog, di ba? Ito yung nagpa-test si President Duterte. Ito naman yung COVID, yung peak yan ng COVID. So, ganyan, yung mga stories or yung mga picture na pipiliin nyo in your newspaper. It is intriguing. It makes the reader see, wala nang nangyayari dito. It makes you stop and read the article. Okay, so, of course, if there's picture, you have to put caption with that. Hindi yung naglagay ka lang ng picture. So, how should we write a caption? So, a caption is something that you put in your illustration. So, it's sometimes called as cut line or underline. Cuts is, as what I told you, are the illustrations or pictures or photos in the newspaper. Cut line are the captions. Or cut lines are the captions. So, it describes what is in the picture. But it does not really tell the obvious thing, Okay? Hindi na yung obvious. You just describe more about the picture. Like, for example, this one, you will just say, the girl, the residents of Batangas, parang ganun. The residents of Batangas covering themselves with the abrupt eruption of the Taal volcano. Something like that. So you give descriptions. So the captions should be closely related. And then that's why it is placed underneath, sa baba po, nung picture. Ito yung picture, nasa baba. How should we write captions? Correct verb tense, kailangan, ano po, simple present, bawal ang ing. Okay, simple present. Then, people must be identified in the correct style. Okay, students, kung student siya, students. Tapos, kung students, you should put the first name and last name if pwede. Okay, kung pwede. Bob Smith, 10, meron siyang age. Staff members, if for example, a teacher, Mr. or Miss titles in captions. Halimbawa, science teacher, Stephen Ferris. So, not Mr. Ferris. So, you say it like, science teacher, Stephen Ferris. Never use Mr. and Miss. Huwag pong gagamitin yan sa caption. You use this. Okay po? And then, say specifically in detail what the person is doing. Studies the capitals of US, goes over vocabulary, kung ano nangyayari mismo sa picture. Must be 2 sentences long or maybe 1 sentence will do. Okay? And then, be sure for sports photo. For example, sports yan. So, you have to identify the specific sport. Kung basketball, kailangan masabi mo dun sa caption kung anong sport yung tinutukoy mo. Okay po? So, we are on the last part, which are the final tips. Kaya pa ba? Okay, so I hope na kaya pa. So, first tip. Keep sentences on the average. Yung mga sentence, as much as possible, keep it short, especially the news article. Huwag niyo na masyadong paikliin. Prefer the simple to the complex. Okay? Zinser wrote, the secret to good writing is to strip every sentence to its cleanest form. Diba, yung sa lead, yung lead muna simple. Tapos i-describe mo yung lead. I-elaborate mo. Tapos yung sinabi mo sa first paragraph, elaborate mo ulit. Ganun yung rule natin eh. And then, prefer the familiar word. Kung saan sila mas, yung mga readers mo, kung saan sila mas familiar, piliin mo yun. Avoid slangs, yung mga pretentious or elaborate words. And then, you have to avoid unnecessary words. Omit that. Yung mga hindi naman mahalaga, tanggalin na. Then, write the way you talk. Avoid formal, stilted language, be specific. I think this is more applicable with opinion and feature writing because in news writing, it will be about formal writing. May sinusunod na structure, may sinusunod na way of writing. So, that tip is for feature and editorial or opinion writing. Use terms your reader can capture. Explain jargons. Huwag kayong magsusulat ng hindi naman kami matututo or hindi naman kami familiar. Siyempre, hindi yan babasahin. Tie in with your reader's experience. A statement cut off from context is a figure that simply floats about. Tingnan nyo, anong nangyayari sa paligid ko? Ano kaya makakakuha sa attention nila? Di ba nakikita nyo, ang galing ng mga vloggers? Ang dami nilang viewers. Bakit ang dami nilang viewers? Kasi alam nila ano yung mga kilite ng viewers nila. The same with you as newspaper writers. Dapat alam nyo, what are the things they will read? Make full use of variety. Work towards and nurture a style you're comfortable with. So, kanya-kanyang style yan ng pagsulat. Kanya-kanya yan. Kung saan kayo mas komportable, ayun po yung piliin nyo. Write to express and not to impress. Diba? Parang na-discuss na natin yan. Kapag nagpa-impress tayo, most of the time, we will be using highfalutin words para ma-impress sila na, ay, ang galing naman magsalita. Parang, nagigets ko, ang galing. Diba? Parang ganun siya. So, you have to write to express para maintindihan ka so that you can explain to them and they will understand you. Okay? So, those are the tips that you can use overall in writing your newspaper. So, I do hope that you really do well in terms of writing the newspaper. So what's your for LG activity sheet number 17? Nothing. Just start compiling your edited newspaper articles and pictures with layout. Okay, so itong LG Activity Sheet 17, pabuya ko na yan sa inyo because I want you to start as early as now to lay out your own work. Sabing nga ni Chris Melaine kanina, laban. Kasi medyo mahirap task yan. So, ayun. Now, how to do the newspaper itself, paano ba ang format, ano ba yung mga gagawin. So, I will give you a format like how many pages? Maybe, I think, four sheets pala, sorry, not 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yan. 4 to 3 sheets of paper will do. 3 to 4 sheets of paper will do. Tapos may size yon. Para siyang long size, but there will be an exact size for the newspaper. Start thinking of your newspaper name. Ano itsura? Anong name ng newspaper nyo? Isipan nyo. Pwede yung acronym ng mga pangalan nyo, pwede yung section nyo, bahala kayo. Basta, pwede rin kayong mag-isip ng theme. You can think of a theme for your newspaper. And then, ano pa ba? You have to make sure that yung pag-layout, consistent. Siguro pwede kayong maghati-hati, but you have to talk about this one. And then, of course, you do your best whenever you prepare this newspaper. I know it will be difficult and struggling, especially in a new normal setup, but I know that you will be able to do it. So, with that, there are some reminders. Okay. So, the submission of LG Activity Sheet Week 10 to 14 is on August 12 via G Classroom or Messenger. Okay? 10 to 14 lang. Ano yon? Ano yung una kong pinagawa sa inyo? I think it's editorial writing or opinion column writing, right? So, ayun po. Ano pa yung pangalawa? This is the editorial cartooning. Kung ano yung sinulat na article ni Editor-in-Chief, gagawan niyo po yun ng cartoon. The third, may pangatlo kong ginawa, sports article. Pero, hindi ko kayo pinagawa ng mismong sports article. Instead, what do you call this? I ask you to analyze an article, right? I want you to get an article, to cut out an article, and then you have to analyze that. That's the third. And the fourth is the copy read work. Pipili kayo dun sa members nyo, tapos ika-copy. Tapos, ma'am, how should we submit it? Paano po ba i-submit? Individual. Okay? But you have to coordinate with your groupmates na ito yung title ko, ito yung gagawin ko, especially kung may kinalaman yun sa newspaper. Okay? Because I do not want to burden, especially the leaders, to compile everything. Eh, malay nyo, late magpasa yung isa. So, it will be difficult. So, it will be individual. Until August 19, you have to submit to me weeks 15 to 16. Okay, I'm sorry. The copy read work will be on weeks 15 to 16. Okay, my mistake. You just have to submit the three. The editorial or opinion column, the cartooning, and the sports article or the cut-out sports article. Tatlo lang tatlong LG lang yan na activity. And then sa August 19, doon po yung copy read work. Okay, to lesson din yung gagawin para sakto. Since I just give this discussion to you. Kaya in-adjust ko pala. And then on August 26, that is the submission of final output. Dikit-dikit nyo na lang yan. Lahat ng mga nagawa na output, nasa sa inyo yan. Kung paano magiging template. Okay? Basta, kailangan front page. After ng front page, dun sa first page is front page. The second page is news articles, about news articles. Third page is about the opinion and the editorials. Then, after the opinion and the editorials, fourth page, feature articles. Pwede rin umabot yung feature articles na isa pa. And then, of course, yung back page is the sports, right? Sports articles. Okay? So, ilan lahat yon? 3 to 4 pages. So, it's up to you how will you edit it. Pero ang mahalaga, makikita ko yung mga parts na tinuro ko. So, that's it. Those are the things that you have to remember. I hope that you did well in the articles. And thank you so much. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to message me. So, have a good day and best of luck. Bye!